thanks for joining me, Jody, for a basics on wrist warm-up and shoulder awareness that we can use in hands and knees positions as well as planks, and we'll apply it to downward facing dog. So from either comfortable sitting or standing, if you prefer, clasp your hands, and we're going to work with some very gentle warm-ups for the wrists, slow rotations, other direction. The wrist is a pretty small joint, and many of us do a lot of computer work, so the wrists can always use a little attention. In our hands and knees positions and planks, the wrist will be more like 90 degrees approximately. So even though we're going to do some stretches on the backs of the wrists, this will help with this position that we'll be in shortly. So again, a gentle stretch on the back of the wrist. I'm going to show you another option in a moment. If that's too intense, you can come back to this position here, where you're simply using your hand to press the other hand and do a gentle stretch on the back of the wrist. In our hands and knees positions, you could put other padding under your knees. So if you're feeling like your mat's a bit thin, just fold it or grab a towel or blanket or whatever you need. So don't be shy. Take care of yourself and be kind to your body. So we'll shift towards hands and knees. And this is where we'll be able to have a little bit more pressure to give ourselves a little deeper stretch. So I'm not going for pain, but rather an effective stretch. So I'm bearing my weight through my left hand and my legs, and the back of my right hand is on the floor, giving the wrist and probably into the forearm some sensation or a stretch. We'll switch. You might do a brief rotation before that hand bears weight, and the other hand gets to stretch on the back of the wrist. Enjoy a few deep breaths. In through the nose, out through the nose. And acknowledge a moment of gratitude for the time you've made for yoga practice today. So coming to hands and knees, where the palms are down and shoulder width from each other, and the fingers are gently spread, not cranked, but evenly spread. And I'm going to press into my palms, and I want you to experiment with this, pressing with your palms and feeling your upper back lifted or broadened. And if you don't push with your hands, you can start to feel the sink. Again, press with the hands, feel the arms strong, and the upper back broad. From here, some shoulder movement and awareness. So keep pushing with the hands, but squeeze the shoulder blades together, and then broaden the shoulder blades. One more. Squeeze, just retract, spread the shoulder blades, protract. And then we'll give ourselves a little rest and stretch back in child's pose. So you can be quite active here where the arms are reaching and you're strong from hand to hip. You could rest your head on the floor if that's possible. You could also be in a more relaxed child's pose, where more of your body is resting. So feel free to come to resting position anytime you need to reconnect with your breath through our practice. Coming back to hands and knees, I want you to experiment with drawing the shoulder blades down the back and then letting them glide up. Purposely shrugging the shoulders. And you might notice the shape that my spine makes. When I shrug the shoulders, there's more of a rounded shape to the back. And when I draw the shoulder blades down, there's a tendency to get a little more back bendy. We're going to make circles now with the shoulder blades as best you can. Squeeze the shoulder blades in, draw them down, spread, and let them shrug up to the neck. To the center, squeeze in, down the back, shoulders. And then come to the center. Again, another stretch or a little break in a child's pose. This is a side variation this time. So reach one hand slightly off to the side, forward and to the side. I like the more active child's pose where I'm not sinking my chest to the floor. There's some support with the core lifting up. Inhale to the center, and my one forearm is also supporting some of my body weight. It's not too much on the knees here in terms of the amount of bend I'm asking, and usually more comfortable for the feet and the ankles. Coming back to our hands and knees, and we'll do one rotation with the shoulders in the other direction. So squeeze, shrug, notice that rounding tendency, broaden, shoulder blades down, notice the back bendy shape, and then to the center. Again, re-establish the push with the palms and the broadening of the upper back. If we overdo this broadening, we'll likely start to get into a rounded back and or the shoulders coming up to the neck and the ears. So if you exaggerate and on purpose let the back get a little round, that's not a bad shape, but noticing, is that what we want? And then if I draw my shoulder blades down my back, I come to a more neutral spine. So neutral is not straight. Neutral has some curves, right? There's a little back bendy shape in the lumbar spine, the low back, a little natural rounded shape in the mid back, thoracic spine, and again, a little bit of that natural back bendy shape in the neck. So I'm wanting to tune into the natural shapes of my spine, feel the shoulders strong. Tuck the toes and lift the hips up and back as the legs get straighter. I want you to relax your neck, let the head hang down, and keep pressing with your hands as you reach your hips away. If I overdo that, I'll really get the shoulders shrugging to the ears. And I want to balance that with shoulder blades down the back. If I overdo the down the back, I'll get a little bit more of a plank position. So I want to be in down dog, fairly straight from hand to hip. And I can adjust this every breath as needed. Maybe holding the position, but as I have awareness of sensation of shoulder position, I can adjust. If I'm not aware of the shoulders and I'm really flexible, I'll have to bend my knees to demo this. You might get a little bit of the hammock. And I prefer practicing and teaching a down dog that's a little stronger. There's a little more support, like somebody could stand on my hips to change a light bulb. And with control, slowly inhale the knees back to the mat. And one more time, stretch out in child's pose. The variation you like, active or very relaxed. In through the nose, out through the nose. And then coming to elbows and knees, forearms and knees. We're going to look at our plank postures, but in a hover position. So we're going to give the wrists a little bit of a break, and we're going to slowly walk the knees back to a modified plank. So you can keep the toes tucked, and you can still press out of the forearms, right? Not sinking, but press, and notice the shoulder blades broad on the back. We're not going to have as much mobility with the shoulders here, that's fine. But I still want you to feel the shoulders broad, and if you let the shoulders glide too far up to the neck or ears, you get a little rounded in the upper back. And if we want to hold a little straighter plank pose, I'm going to draw the shoulder blades down the back. If I do it too much, I'll get a little back bendy, and that's not my intent right now. My intent is to find a strong plank, because that's a wonderful transition posture, as well as just a wonderful posture to work on core strength. So I want to have my shoulders in a good position when I'm working on core strength. So from here, if this is going well and you feel like the shoulders are in the Goldilocks place, not too lifted to the neck and not too drawn back, not squeezing together, but broadening and pressing through the forearms. So the spine feeling fairly neutral. You could then take this into a full plank where you draw the knees up and you breathe. And we've done lots of shoulder movement already, so the shoulders might burn pretty quickly. And the core pose is not, or the core strengthening is not really the intent. So let the knees come down. We're looking at shoulder awareness to take into our other practices. So I hope this has been helpful. You can use this video as a warm-up anytime you like for other practices. Drop me a message or a comment and let me know if this is useful. Namaste.